welcome to another episode of The Real State of Real Estate. I'm Emily and I am here with Kristie.
Hi.
And we are both property managers here at Davey. So today we're going to talk about maximising your property's potential without minimising any future problems. And we're just going to go over some tips and tricks and what we do here at Davey.
What are we introducing into today?
Your property isn't just an asset, it's an ongoing business. And it's really important to try and keep good relationships with your tenants as well as, doing the best you can with your profits and your property.
Beautiful. So first off, I guess we want to start off with applications and how we process them.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. So in terms of when we process our applications, we don't accept applications prior to a viewing. That's just to ensure that everyone gets a fair chance in obviously coming through to the viewings. We then send them through a code. We like to process our applications and get them off to owners within 24 to 48 hours.
Yep.
And then involved in that screening is we do our database checks. We make sure that their employment reference is good with their suitability for their income. We look at their rental history, making sure that we've got the last few years of that and making sure it's a good reference. Character references are always great. Something I will point out in an application that property managers love, don't know if everyone does, but I definitely do, is cover letters. They are amazing. I love a good cover letter. They stand out in applications because at the end of the day, the application is based on factual information, whereas a cover letter tells us who you are. Why do you want to live in Scarborough?
Yeah, and and it's kind of just going that extra mile. You want to start off with a really good application because it's likely that they're going to be great tenants.
Yeah. No, I agree. And then in terms of when you are putting in an application, super important that you make sure that you're letting the references know that we do need to get in touch with them. Because I do say that I feel like that it fails a lot of applications because we can't get in touch with those references and everything. So
yeah, and references are the first thing we look at. Yeah, for sure. And also going over the handover process and lease agreements and things like that, it's super important that the tenant understands everything. Everything's really clear to them. If they fall into rent arrears, what the steps are, just so there's no misunderstanding later on. Tenants can't say, well, I didn't know.
Yeah, beautiful. So in terms of our handover book, what does that look like to you when we do a sign up?
It's a game changer. So good. Yeah, definitely recommend having it clear and easy for them to read and for them to take with them as well. And it's good for us to go over through it with them.
Yes.
And that's their chance to ask any questions.
Like we can provide them with that jargon information of the Residential Tenancy Act, but it's just sometimes good to just keep it plain and simple for them in terms of how reticulation works when your bins are going out for the day as part of the week and everything like that. So
yeah, everything. And for me, the biggest one's rent arrears. Yes. They need to know what happens. If they're one day late, they'll just get a text they'll keep getting texts, and then if it goes beyond them, we follow up with the owner. So it's so important to have that in front of them. So that's, where it starts,
Yeah, and that's it. And keeping for tenants, obviously, like things happen with people falling late in rent. Sometimes they've lost their job. Sometimes they don't get paid for that week. Sometimes they don't have annual leave or sick pay. And it's just so important that they let us know and just keep constant communication. We're not going to come out screaming at you as to why you're late. It's like, just tell us. It's worse just digging your head in the sand and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
So when a tenant does become late in rent, what are our standard procedures? What are our steps? Okay. So standard clause for our particular agency is that when you're a day late, you do get that general SMS along with a phone call follow-up. 2 days, we obviously let the owner know what's going on, and then again try and follow up with the tenant with another phone call, SMS, voicemail, email. And then if we can't get in touch with them by the day 3, that's when we would speak to our owner about getting that Form 1B termination in place, which gives the tenant 7 days to rectify the rent, which you'll find 90% of the time it does happen, but it's kind of just in place and safeguarding our owners for their property as well.
Yeah, and we will also let the tenant know about things like rent relief and you know, there are things out there to help if you are in a difficult situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's super important that we give the tenants all the information they need.
Yeah, perfect.
The biggest one for me is routine inspections.
Yeah.
So important for just keeping your property well maintained. Most people do them every 3 months. And we also invite owners to all inspections. And I love that. You know, it's great for us to meet owners, but it's also great for the owners to see the property in person. I know a lot of them don't live in the area, which is totally fine, but it's just, you know, if you're an owner and you can, I think it makes a big difference as well.
No, I agree, because obviously with us being able to legally do them 4 times a year, even if the owner saw it once a year, just so they can see, obviously you've got your photos from your routine inspections and we write up the reports, but I think it's fantastic when an owner comes along, because sometimes they might think that something has been left in a pristine condition when they have rented out the property. But it's just good to kind of keep an eye on like general wear and tear, and, you know, just reminding them and recommending them things like repainting or perhaps installing new downlights, just things that might improve the quality of the property, but also, you know, maximising the value that they can get in their rent per week.
Yeah, and sometimes the tenant's there too, and it's a great opportunity for them to, you know, speak with the tenant. The tenant might have some ideas of the house, you know. I just think it's a great idea if owners can come along.
Yep, yeah.
And also for maintenance, you want to get on top of maintenance when it's little before it turns into a big issue. Things like pruning trees or little things like that. It's so important. The condition of the lawn.
Yeah, yeah. No, well, that's it. And then obviously at our agency, when it comes to winter time, we recommend just prior to winter that the owners are getting the gutter cleans done, because when winter comes and the rain comes in and you've been recommending to have those trees cut for a while, that's when it turns into a larger issue, and generally insurance comes into play. And then obviously leading into summertime as well, recommend getting the aircon serviced. And just kind of those bits and pieces. Same with reticulation. You kind of think that you sometimes might rent out your property and it kind of just takes care of itself. But much like a car service, you do need to maintain those things as you kind of keep going throughout the property. And that's what we're there for.
Yeah, you want to maintain the small issues before they come into big expenses.
For and sure. Very time consuming.
Yes. And you also want to go with trusted trades. I know, you know, it's expensive. Things are expensive, but it's so worth it to go through a trusted trade or company rather than your cheapest option.
Yes, Google.
That's when a lot of issues happen.
Yes, yeah. It's like, oh, I'm a handyman, I can do the plumbing. Actually, no, you can't. But yeah, I think it's just super important, like you said, just coming to see the property, doing general maintenance throughout the year, like a gutter clean, what is that, a couple $100 annually?
Yeah.
Especially if you've got trees around the area versus your $3,000 or $4,000 if, for example, the ceiling starts leaking and everything like that as you go throughout your tenancy.
Yeah, and even if you have strata at your property, keep on them to trim the trees, because, I mean, I've had roof leaks caused by trees being overgrown and getting in the gutter, and it's just, it can turn into a really expensive big issue.
Yes, yeah. No.
The next topic is safety and compliance checks and insurance.
I love compliance checks.
You do?
They're like my favourite
Your
thing.
spreadsheets,
yes.
You love them.
Love a good spreadsheet. I find the most common compliance issue for me personally is cleats. And if you don't know what that is, they are the little plastic things that your blind cord will wrap around in order for safety regulations in terms of strangulation for small children. It has happened before. It will continue to happen until obviously everyone is on board in terms of how legislation actually works. Yeah,
and also another big one is pool compliances, where in summer we're seeing a few blow-up pools in backyards.
That's a no-no.
It's a big no-no. So it's also just informing tenants, like they're often not really aware of the council rules and regulations.
Yeah, in terms of that, because it's, less than 30 centimetres is okay. Anything more than 30 centimetres, you got to have that gate up, the fence, full compliance as if it was a built-in pool.
Yeah.
Have you seen many of those? I haven't seen any at my routine inspections yet.
I've had one, but they took it down straight away. It was fine. Yeah.
That's great.
They just weren't aware. They weren't aware of the rules.
And the guidelines and everything. And that's it. Most people don't. Everyone sells blow-up pools.
Yeah.
Kmart, Big W.
Yeah, and they
you just get them and you just, especially when you don't have a pool. But you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. And things like smoke alarms, electrical, gas, all that maintenance, compliance, super important because your insurance
will always find a way to get out of it.
Yeah.
With our smoke alarms, we've got annual checks that we obviously do.
Yeah.
We try to get all our owners on board for those annual checks with our 2 trusted contractors that we utilise. And then that obviously just keeps everything at bay and just makes sure that, in the event of a fire and you've got insurance, that you can be like, yep, it was done in the last 6 months and they can't say anything about it.
Same going back to the roofs, roof checks and things like that. The thing with insurance is it's conditional. It's not automatic. You've got, insurance companies are assuming that you're doing all these compliances and safety checks. And if you're not, then 9 times out of 10, they won't.
Yeah,
they won't like cover you.
Yeah, no, I can completely agree with that. And that's it. Like you said, they just assume. And obviously being in the industry that we're in with the legislation, we obviously can't provide advice with who to go through for insurance. I think that's an important thing that owners need to be aware of as well, which is obviously what we do at our agency. But if you do have a property that is managed with someone else, they can't guide you on who to get your insurance through just because we're just not allowed.
Yeah, and it's also important for the owners to look into it themselves because some insurances, for example, won't cover for people that run businesses in the home.
Yeah.
And little things like that. And I think it's important for the owner to understand the whole policy.
Yeah, and not just picking one and calling it a day. Like your health insurance.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
No, I think I'm all good. I think we've covered enough bases for today. I definitely love to step back in here though. Once you get into the groove of it, it's like, you can do
fun.
It. Yes, no, 100%.
All right, well, thank you for listening to our episode.
Bye.
Bye.